Hi. We're here. Kate,
Hello.
we're here. Did we lose Kate?
I'm trying to figure out how to see the comments in the sidebar.
Okay. Look over to the right-hand column of your... Okay, you guys. Hi. This is Kate's first live, and she got here smoothly all by herself. So let's give her a second to find the chat. But hi, you guys. Hi. Let's see who's here. Let me run through while notifications go out. Let me run through some of these. Hi. There's Sean, my number one shot caller. Amy. That's me saying hi, you guys. I recognize that last name. Is that your sister?
That's my aunt.
Your aunt? Hi,
Yep.
Beth.
Yep.
And I've seen you on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Hi, Regina. I asked Regina. She'll be on the next one. Either the next one or the next one after that. I'm going to do one a little later so Regina can come on because she has a booth. I've been watching her for a couple years now on YouTube. I'm a fan. And Stephanie, Thrifting Adventures, needs to come on a little later after she picks up her kids. And then on down the road, I think the third or fourth is going to be George the Antique Nomad. And I got to talk to Jocelyn. Now, a couple months ago while she was pregnant, she said yes, but I don't know. But her and George are supposed to do one with me, so that's going to be exciting too. But let me talk to her and see if she's still on board. If not, we'll put something else.
I saw her in here.
She's in here, yeah. Hi. There's Jocelyn. There's LaDonna.
Hello.
Karen Chasen Vintage, who I'm looking for the perfect return gift. By the way, I have gotten my friend mail, and sometime this week I will open it all up. So, Karen, I've got the items that the girls sent along with, what you bought me. Thank you. Oh, there's my pal Mike, one of the best pickers I know in Pennsylvania too, I believe, or that area. One of the most awesome pickers I know, you guys. If you want to learn like what I call, I shouldn't be sexist, but guy stuff, or it's just stuff I'm like, what the heck is that? How would you even know? But anyway, so that's why I follow Mike. DeCray, sometimes I call him, on Instagram, and every once in a while he'll bless us with a YouTube video, but mostly Instagram.
Nice.
Chloe girl.
Hi, Barb.
Bottles in the Barn. I like that.
Such a great name.
And TTT. Hi, Tiger. Hi.
Tiger.
So I've been talking about doing this for a while, and I got some good feedback that a lot of my YouTube subscriber friends are like, yeah, I would kind of like to talk about that. I'm kind of interested in doing one. I don't even know where to start. And so I said, okay, well, let me get my you-know-what together and we'll do one. So things are calming down and I'm finally doing one. There's Eliza. Hi, sweetie. Hi. I'm too nice. I have my crunchy days. Ask anybody. Everybody says I'm so nice, but I am nice. But believe me, I got crunchy days too. I can get a little rough around the edges, but I usually stay home. It's okay if I'm not fit for public consumption. I'll stay home. Oh, hi there, Nicole. Wow, I'm honored.
Hello.
Thank you. Okay, I feel like everybody knows everybody. We've worked together before. Kate, I've shouted out several times, right? I'm a big fan. I've shouted out Kate several times that if you guys like the kitsch, or if you want to watch somebody that's just crazy cute, the face, crazy cute and funny, go follow Kate. So I'll drop their links every once in a while. And also, when this is over, I'll go back and fill out the description with everybody's links, okay? But let's just do a round robin and everybody say hi. If you got something interesting coming up, talk about that. So here we're going to put Amy in big, let her say hi.
Hello. So I'm Amy. My channel is Yoso Boho Rescued Treasures. Been on YouTube for a couple of years, and we always joke that Yvonne was the one who popped my cherry because she made me live the first time we did a sale.
Oh my gosh.
So love being here. I have 2 booths currently, and we're opening up a third for a temporary Christmas booth. So this should be a great conversation. I think this is an awesome idea, Yvonne. But yeah, that's it. I'll be at the extravaganza coming up this weekend. Like, we're taking the camper on Thursday, so we'll be there the whole weekend. Other than that, just a regular YouTube schedule, and I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays usually, and then I do some spontaneous sales. I know, Jocelyn, I saw that. I want to bump into you. That would be awesome.
Yes, and then someone else who is leaning toward going, we're not quite sure yet, but you guys, if you don't follow Kate, I'll drop the links, but you know, she used to work for Jocelyn. So that's where we first saw Kate. I don't know if you remember the epic little outfits that we would get a glimpse of. I think when I really, really like deeply fell in love with Kate is when I saw a glimpse of her in Jocelyn's video when she had on this purple coat with fur on it. And I'm like, yes. But anyways, here's Kate.
Hey. Am I right?
You're good, girl.
You're good.
I've never done this before.
Just say hi, where you're from, what you do, where you sell.
Like Yvonne said, I'm into the kitschy stuff. And currently I live in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So like South Central, and I have 2 booths.
Nice.
And Kate, you're leaning toward going to the Ohio extravaganza too, right? You're leaning that way.
My plan's a little chaotic. I think I'm going to go to Columbus for like a day and a half, but I'm not actually going to go to the extravaganza because I'm not driving. Thank you, Jocelyn. Hey. I'm just trying to catch the free ride, honestly.
You have been everywhere. According to your videos,
I'll go anywhere where I can get free transportation.
Okay, and here comes my good friend Cathy, the kitschy cat.
Hi. Well, I'm Cathy, the kitschy cat. I have been a reseller on eBay for 20 years this year, actually. And I was kind of getting overwhelmed with all the picture taking and the descriptions and all that. And I was really hoping for another platform. And, the crud hit. And I was watching a lot of YouTube and saw some resellers. And I went, I think this is something I'm supposed to do. So I started having live sales on YouTube. And then another goal for last year for me was getting a booth. And so I got a booth early this year. Or should I say the goal was this year was to get a booth. And I've had it for a few months. So I'm kind of coming from the angle of a newbie and still learning. So.
Okay, I'll bring this all in. Let me remember how to do that. Nope, that ain't it. There we go. So I'm leaning toward going. Not to bring up sad news, you guys. I'm okay. I'm over the hump. Thank you for all the help, the cards, the flowers, the books, the gifts, the well wishes, the comments and advice. But my dad is from Ohio, and my favorite aunt and uncle, his brother that I grew up with, and we were the closest, they live in New Paris, Ohio, which isn't too far from Dayton, which isn't too far from Springfield. And they own a campground. And so I'm thinking to take a little bit of Dad. I picked Dad up last week to them. And so it would just be, so I'm leaning toward going. If not, I'll do a road trip in October. So, but yeah, George is set up at that big extravaganza, which, I mean, it's an amazing event on its own. And I haven't ever gone, although I've been asked. Jocelyn tried to get me to go last year and the year before. Misty even invited me, I think last year or one of the years. I did not get an invite this year. So anyways, let's not start drama. Don't start none, won't be none. Anyways, yeah, Jocelyn's going to be there with, I believe Drew's going and the baby. And perhaps we'll see Kate show up. Dagny will be there for sure. Amy will be there because she lives in Ohio. That is so cool. And so if I make it, you'll probably see me hanging around with those girls, okay? Or checking on George, giving him a break, whatever. But yeah, it's a big event on its own. It just so happens that it's one of the things that George, the antique nomad, sets up. And, we all love George. He's just a wealth of information. So, which is why I'm going to have him on one of our booth talks, because he has 3 or 4 booths, and he's been doing it forever. He's even managed a whole mall. So And then if Jocelyn remembers and agrees to come on with George, they've got a couple of booths, her and Drew, so maybe I can get her to say yes again, and maybe even Drew. That would be awesome. Anyways, Nicole, you're in Canada? Wait a minute,
Maine.
Maine. Okay,
Yeah.
You're in Maine. I was thinking of the collection vintage.
Well, we're kind of Canada in a way.
It's so close. So that's not too far for you guys to go. Oh, okay. So, anyways, if any of you are going, please look for this gang. Probably Sunday, maybe. I don't know if they're going on Saturday, but if you follow Jocelyn or any of these other girls, then they'll probably keep you posted, okay, on Instagram or on their videos. Okay, you didn't either. Oh, I know. Look, okay, I need to be good. I need to not be crunchy today. Okay, so, and if I don't make it, I will be doing a big road trip, meeting other resellers, including Amy, Fat Bird Finds, my girl Lindy Glenn in Kansas. My mother-in-law lives in Pennsylvania, so I'm going to hook up. Hopefully, Jocelyn and Dagny will be around, and Kate, because I got a bucket list. I want to do the Dagny dance with a hat on of some type. I want to find a phone cord purse, which I have never found, but Jocelyn seems to find more than her share. I'll trade you a glassy baby for a phone cord purse. And I want to play the praying hands game. And I want to see if I can outdo. I can't find all the kits like Kate does. So I want to see if I can outdo Kate on finding the cool kitschy stuff. So it'll be fun. So it'll either be with the Ohio extravaganza here next week, or it'll be in October. Anyways, let's get started with booth talk. We will answer all questions in a round robin. I have a little video of my booth for those of you that don't remember. And Amy sent me a video of her booth, okay? So, oh, wait a minute. There's Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Hi, love.
Canadian Maine.
Right? I was telling her in the green room, I'm like, you find so much kitsch. I just don't have that in my malls here. It's really odd. Not to the extent that Kate finds. So anyways, I'm excited about that if she'll share some of her honey holes so I can take a few pieces back home. All right. And let's see, for those of you that don't know me, I'm in Colorado. Amy said she was in Ohio. Kate's in Pennsylvania, and Cathy is in Maine. And again, I will drop all their links in the video description that you can drop down after we're done. And I'll try to drop them over when it's not my turn to talk over here on the side, you guys, for those of you that don't follow other people. And I have one more person. Hi, Ruthie. Hi, love. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about booths? Otherwise, I'll just lead off and start talking, or actually I'll have Amy lead off. I brought my paperwork so I can share some information, and we'll answer questions. Put some kind of big emojis, like a string of emojis or all caps or something, so I can find it, okay? So we do have about 80 people in here. Okay. And already Eliza, let's see what Eliza says. Mm-hmm. I'm on a waiting list for a booth at a local antique mall. Well, there's going to be my first suggestion, but I'm going to let Amy go first.
That is going to be an awesome booth because I follow Eliza on her Insta, and she's so good. She curates so good.
Besides the stuff she finds, some of the things she posts, because like she must be about my age or something, because she just makes me laugh so much.
She's great on Instagram. If you're not following her, follow her on Instagram. She's great. Find her.
So what do you have to say about being on a waiting list? Because that's a thing.
I haven't, well, I'm actually, we were on a waiting list for one place that we would prefer to be, that's been full since 1998 or something crazy. But our very first booth was right at the beginning of COVID. We were in, everything was priced, and then everything shut down. So it was like the worst timing ever. And then the traffic to that place, even though the place was like a beautiful Victorian home, was horrible. So we lost money there. And then we did some shopping around. And that is super important to really shop around, find a place that has good traffic, talk to the other vendors, find out how happy they are, if they're making money there. That's like so important. So we went someplace that we had a good vibe about, and that's where we got our second booth. And we ended up getting a second booth there. So now we have 2, and we're going to open a third just for the Christmas season because we have a lot of Christmas. So it's going pretty well.
Kate, do you have any experience on what it's like being on a waiting list or how you chose?
I don't wait for anything. I'm way too impulsive to be on a waiting list.
Princess Kate, okay, our bad. Okay, well, go on to Cathy.
Yeah, so the place that I wanted to be at, I was consistent. I really wanted to be at this specific place. I really liked the owners. I liked their vibe. It's in a barn, an old barn, so I like the barn vibe. And I was pretty kind of persistent. I would go in often so they'd see my face. They remembered that I wanted to get a booth. And every so often I would say, I'm still interested in a booth whenever it's available. So the persistence for me, I feel like is the key, especially if you want to be in a specific location. Just let them know you have not lost interest. And then one day I went in and she's like, yep, I have a spot for you. And I was like, okay. And just getting a rapport with the owners, I think, is helpful as well. But that's about it from my experience so far.
Well, I agree with all these answers. I must say the winner is Kate with not having to wait, but we don't know how to accomplish that because, so yes, I was the first mall that I went into was Willowstone. Some of you that have been with me for a while remember that I did that about 2 years ago, and I did have to go on a waiting list. And the advice, like the other girls said, is I asked around to other people who had booths, particularly George, the antique nomad, because he had so many, and Tanya, Thrifty Treasures, and some other people that I knew had booths, kind of like what questions, what should I look for? And we'll go into that in more depth here in a minute. And so I chose the one, and I kind of, okay, and they downsized, they eventually went out of business completely. But I didn't make the first downsizing cut. So I went over to the other major one, which I should have chose to begin with. But regardless, I had to go on a waiting list because there were quite a few of us Willowstone refugees, is what I told them I was. And I did have to wait a couple of months. But how I did like what Cathy says, I kept making my presence known. I let them know I'm experienced. I have the inventory, I have the time, and you guys, you don't need to have social media to accomplish this, but it probably didn't hurt that I said I have a YouTube channel too, where I promote, thrifting and reselling, and I'll help promote. Now, so even if you just have an Instagram account or Facebook, if you do that, we'll throw that in. Or if you're open to doing it, let them know, because that is good for the whole market. That's good for everyone. So anyways, we'll get more into depth because I'm pretty sure we're going to see questions about that. Let's see a follow-up on this. About 6 months wait. Let's see. Been on the list for 3 months. Okay, we're going to get into more detail because I got some things to say about waiting lists, but it's probably going to come up here. Let's see, because there's other advice here. Okay, I'm not quite sure who she's talking about. Let's see. Find another question. Is there anything you should put in your booth that sells quickly? I just got a booth 2 weeks ago. Is this your first booth, Vanessa? This is your first go around, I get the feeling. We'll let Amy start, but I think I know what Amy's going to say. She's going to say the rest of us are going to say, but I'll let you talk about that, Amy.
I think that's a learning thing. It's a learning curve that never ends. Sometimes we're completely shocked at things we put in there, how quickly they'll sell. And we just experiment constantly. You have to be there and move things and do things constantly and just learn the whole time. My aunt actually is my partner in the booths, and she started like a man section with tools and things and some metal signage and some crusty, rusty stuff. And I'm like, that's so smart. Like, that stuff's going to sell, So you never really know. You just got to find it, price it right, put it in the right place to see that, people can see it. And I can't tell you like just one thing, I'm sure Pyrex, it sells if it's priced right. I'm sure swung glass sells if it's priced right. I love all of the above, but it's hard to find and it's hard to, price it right. So.
Kate, got any opinions or advice?
Before COVID, really, it was art. Art sold really quick in my booth because I would be able to get it for really, really cheap at these auctions that I went to before COVID. And after, I kind of stayed away from like bigger stuff, and it's been really random. I try not to put too much of the same thing in my booth, but the one thing that always sells for me, which I don't know why, is doll heads. Because it's kind of a strange thing, but usually I put it in and it's gone like within 48 hours. But I don't think that's like a really hot item, so I don't know why that is. I think it's just one person who keeps coming back.
Cathy?
For me, it has been, so my antique mall, or it's a mall, my antique barn, is on the main drag to a lot of tourist lakes, and goes to some beautiful areas in Maine. And so for my mall, it's nautical things. I'm in Maine, so people who are vacationing want a souvenir from Maine that isn't something cheesy from Walmart. And I found my seagulls, my sea things, my anchor things gone. So I'm learning that it's Maine geared things and seasonal. Seasonal is always really good, no matter YouTube, booth, wherever, eBay. Seasonal is great. So those would be my go-tos right now.
Let's see, and that sells quickly. That just got to be too skip. Okay, so I'll talk about where I'm at. They have different sections, and so the section I'm in, they have cases, they have the premier section, and then they have the warehouse. They're a little more forgiving in the warehouse. You can have like garage sale type stuff. I'm in the main section. I came in with on my application, I'm going to sell vintage, some antiques. And I was honest, I don't always find a lot of antiques that I feel like I can afford, that are flippable, or that I have the knowledge. I'm still learning on antiques, and that I love art glass. So vintage and modern. So that's how I got in. And so I needed to honor that, because in the contract for the area that I have my booth, I need to keep a percentage that I can put in some modern stuff. And I do. I put in what I call American icon collectibles, like Coke stuff, even though maybe it's only retro from the 90s, borderline on vintage. I've got some Ray Dunn, which is not vintage, but I have an area that I consider, iconic, American iconic collectibles. So that's how I do that with bringing in new items. And I've got Kate Spade, some of her iconic stuff. But other than that, I need to watch my ratio. So what I'll do is like pottery, it can be artisan. If it's studio pottery, I don't care if it was made yesterday, as long as it's artisan studio pottery, not mass produced. I feel comfortable that I can bring that in, and it does well. And on my jewelry, how I approach that when it's not just all vintage is, again, if it's handmade artisan jewelry, then I feel like that's a pass to have newer items too. But I'm very careful about labeling things that way. On my labels, I'll put, American iconic collectibles or artisan for the things that aren't vintage and antique. So let me see. So that guides my decisions. Sells quickly. I do what other people have said. I'm just kind of like, when I'm there, I'm looking at other people's carts, because not everyone that comes to the antique mall, they're called antique malls or marketplace, but it's antique, vintage, collectibles, and some of it's flea market. And to me, that's the best kind, because you get a good demographic, a cross demographic of people. There are some people that come to my market that they don't even know vintage from antique or anything. They just like the indoor flea market shopping. Okay. So I look at what other people have in their carts, things they're asking for. I do not try to infringe too much if there's a booth that is all pretty much 90% one item. Okay. Like there's someone who sells 90% Fiesta, the Fiesta stuff, the stoneware and stuff. So therefore if I find a great Fiesta piece, maybe I'll put that on eBay instead. But if it's, but other than that, I don't worry that if it's just a bunch of us have a couple of the same things, I don't worry about that.
Right.
So, and I follow the seasonal stuff. So I think that's about all, because there's more, but I'm sure it'll get added in. Okay, so you guys bear with me. There's a lot. Sorry if I pass something, you might just have to put it again. I need caps or a bunch of emojis or something. Let's see. So we did that one for Vanessa. Let me see what Cindy's saying. The last year has been really tough. My mall does not get as much foot traffic anymore. Well, that goes back to choosing a mall. You really want to ask around, and you want to watch, and you want to see. Like my mall, I'm out of turn, sorry, but real quick, my mall, there are so many vendors that have been there forever. To me, that's a plus. So, Amy, do you have any thoughts on what's been the differences that's been happening?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like we had an impact when things slowed down. The economy slowed down for sure. But I think also during COVID, when we were looking for a mall, we were seeing traffic because people were kind of surrounding themselves in their homes with stuff that they want. So it really helped to learn about traffic and to, I think Yvonne said, talk to people. Yeah. Our place has been open, I think, 18 years. And so there are people there who have had booths for 18 years. And that was like running into them and talking to them was important, because it wasn't just somebody who was like, trying to save face by saying, oh, I'm doing really well here. It was somebody who's saying, I have 5 booths and sometimes it sucks. But overall, I've done pretty good in the last 18 years. So.
Okay.
I mean, I've had the same experience as Cindy here. The last year has been like really, really slow. I had closed one of my booths at one of the places for like a year, but the year and a half before that, when it was open, I would get like emails every day of like, just like one random thing at least it sold. And it's been like a couple items a week for the past few months. So, I mean, I don't get a lot of foot traffic where I'm at because there's nowhere to walk really. So, I know they put up signages recently along the highway and have been advertising more on Marketplace and in the local antique pamphlets and stuff like the Sunday Driver. But it's just been kind of slow this year, honestly.
Cathy, any thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of hard to gauge because I'm still new to it. And so I feel like it feels slow to me because I'm not quite making rent yet with my sales, unfortunately. But I'm going to stick it out through this. I told myself, stick it out through the end of the season. If it's a loss, paid to learn. But at least get through the season. This is when the season picks up. So, I'm just letting it run and trying to figure out if I'm not putting out the right things or I can learn to put out the right things. But I did just check my sales just a little earlier today, and I just had 5 sales. So that's good. So I think maybe for me, it's just I'm not quite there about knowing about the traffic yet because I haven't my booth is a work in progress, I feel like. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what we all said sounds great. And I agree with Cathy. Like, I was fortunate that I did at least pay my rent even the first month. And I think I cleared like 100. But you guys also know how cheap I am. I will not pay up for stuff. So I'm getting good, returns on my money. And I will add this real quick as we're going to talk more about picking a booth here in a second, but I will add this and it ties into that. At this place that I'm at now, you pay month to month and you are only obligated for a month. You can give a month notice and leave, but when you first come in, they want you to make a 3-month commitment. And so that's something to think about too. I didn't have to pay for all 3 months in advance, but they asked for a commitment, please, because they want you to be serious and they know you got to give yourself a chance. Especially in my case, being so diversified, it took me a while to start to get my booths filled up. They're still not even at capacity, in my opinion. I know I still have room to grow my income, but anyways, we'll dive into this one now. I do have my paperwork, and I kind of told them to kind of get a ballpark figure. Now we might need to give ballpark figures because there are reasons why somebody's booth, my booth might be $2 a square foot, and the person next to me might be $2.10 a square foot. And it's just like wages. We really shouldn't, when you work for a corporation or something, they really don't like you to compare wages, which is whatever. That's, whatever. But I won't say whether that's right or wrong. But so we're just going to give ballpark so we don't get ourselves in trouble, but it'll be close. Okay, you guys. So I'll let Amy go first, and then remind what state you're in.
We are in Ohio, and the mall that I'm in is close to Lake Erie. It's actually called the Shops by the Lake. And what I liked about going there is they had options. So they gave us paperwork that said you can have a booth that's this size, or you can have a booth that's this size, which is like a double booth. You can have a booth with a showcase that is lockable, or you can have one without. So there was different prices based on the size and whether it had a case. And then they also then said, depending on how much you want to pay in commission, you can pay a certain amount in commission and a certain amount for your booth. So we set our commission a certain rate, and basically for our booths we pay about $150. And one of them has a case and one of them doesn't. So
about what size is that one?
10 by 10.
10 by 10. Okay.
Yeah. So the one booth that we have is longer. It's more like a 6 by something, and the other one is like 10 by 10 square.
So for those of you that can't picture in your brain, a 10 by 10 is about the size of like a kid's bedroom in your typical house.
Yeah.
So that's a significant amount of space to have you a nice little shop. That's okay. Kate?
Yeah, I mean, I really agree with everything, like the options or whatever. An 8 by 10 Rufus. Sorry.
Rufus.
He's I think he wants attention. It's like really a lot of space to maintain, and it takes a lot of shelves to put in there. So I know for me, like I have one booth that's an 8 by 10, and it's like $120, and but for the most, the other couple I've had around the years, I like to have sorry, I can't go with that. I like to have shelves already in it. So I like a smaller space. So it's just kind of easier to maintain for me instead of like having to go on Marketplace and finding shelves and moving furniture around if I want to like move my booth around. So like I like to find places where they have like shelves already installed and you just pay for like a little space. Like, I mean, I pay anywhere from $20 to $50 a spot. I mean, and as far as like if $350 is high, I mean, if it's the only place there is, I would ask everywhere else just to get like an average, So, because for like it depending on where you live, obviously, like $150 around my area is pretty standard for a mediocre size, a normal size booth, but there are places that are higher.
Cathy?
So my booth is in Maine, and it's in the ballpark of 100, give, not take, but give. So a little bit more than that. And
what size?
What's that? Oh, yeah. The size it's actually an awkward size because it's in a barn. It's 3 by like 8, so it's long. It's this long booth. And so I've utilized the walls every way I can. I still can put more, but high and low, just using every inch that I possibly can use. I still need to work on it more, but I was a little concerned about the price and the size, but again, I just want to give it a chance and go through the holiday season and see how it goes.
Okay, so I've got, if you follow me, I just had opened up a second booth so I could do artwork and small pieces of furniture. So my main booth, the one with all the glass, mostly, and glass fixtures, that is a 10 by 11, and it's about $250 for a 10 by 11. It's a corner booth though. So see, like I may be paying 20 cents more per square foot for all I know, because I've got a nice corner. It's a, so that's, an intersection of two streets, so to speak. The aisles are named streets at my mall. And the other one I just took is kind of like Cathy's. It's 6 by 11. It's a long, skinny one, but that was perfect for me because I wanted wall space to put up artwork, right? So a square one, maybe that's cool, especially if it's on a corner. I don't know. Or do you want 3 walls? Do you not want to be in a corner? Do you need those 3 walls? Because like on a corner where I'm at, I don't necessarily want to put a bunch of tall shelving units, to block one of the aisles view of my booth. And then in my long skinny one, that's a lot of frontage. See what I'm saying? So you have to think about how are you going to like build it out. Mine were blank, no built-in shelf units or anything. One of them does have pegboard, I believe. And so did I give prices? About $150 for the long skinny one and about $250 for the nice big corner booth, which is about the size of Amy's. And I do pay. She talked about commission. I've never heard that one. That's a new one on me, Amy, that you could choose your commission. Some of us, and you guys didn't answer this, but some malls you need to ask, is there a commission? Some people don't want to pay commission, but that's what helps. Mine's minuscule. It's like 10%. That's what helps pay for all the cashiers. If I was running my own store, I'd have to pay all the electricity, the water. I'd have to pay the cashiers because I do not want to be tied down. So that little tiny 10%, that's like $1 for a $10 item. That helps pay for all these people that basically run my store when I'm not there. All I have to do is stock it and keep it clean. So it's 10% where I'm at. And no other electric fee. Sometimes it'll be commission, no commission. Sometimes it'll be you got to work a day, so many days. Sometimes it'll be an electrical fee if you want electric. So I don't know if any of you have any of that. And so Amy has a unique situation where I guess you could pick your commission.
We have to work too.
And you have to work. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are things you want to write down in your notes when you're comparing things. And then, there's more to say about picking a booth and doing a booth. And I'm sure we'll get to it as we answer more questions. But if you're, some of these are some of the things you should write down, to ask. And like Kate talked about, her place is starting to advertise more. My place does a lot of advertising. We're one of the largest ones in my town. And since we lost the other one that was the largest, we're expecting a lot more foot traffic our way. As a matter of fact, the owner has, I won't say hired, he wants to pay me, but we're going to do a little different deal. I'm going to be handling their Instagram and making YouTube interview videos for their YouTube channel. So do they have a presence on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube? Do they advertise? Mine actually buys commercials on our local cable networks. So, okay, we'll go on to the next question because I know everything will come out as I'm sure we're going along. So let me find one, you guys. And if you have something to add, go ahead. I don't know, Cathy, you didn't say anything. Cathy and Kate didn't say anything about commission. Stephanie popped in, by the way, you guys. I don't know if you saw that. Stephanie popped in. She's going to be on a future one because she has a booth too. And there is Miss Dagny. Her ears were probably burning earlier. So let me find a question. I'm going to have to follow. Yeah. Stuff, you guys. Seriously. It's the same name over on Instagram and on YouTube. Okay, let me find something. Let me see what Nicole's saying as they ask the antique mall owner cashier what people are asking for when they come in. That's a good tip.
Yeah, and we have to work a day, and if you can work the cash register or wrap stuff by the cashier, that's really smart because you see everything that's coming through.
Yeah, that ties into what Blessed Nest is saying.
Exactly.
We have here.
Hi, Carol.
Well, you guys are up in Maine, so yeah. Because
Yeah.
like, I'm landlocked. Like I see cool beach stuff and nautical stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. But I also am in a tourist destination town, so
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah.
I will be like, it'll be okay. But I don't lean into it as heavily as probably Cathy or Nicole would, right? Because they're in Maine,
Right.
or like my friend Kat the Nurse Flipper in Florida. So let me see. Let's see. Sean, how often do you normally get a check? Okay, we'll take that one now. Amy,
We get paid once a month.
once a month.
So, but it's really nice because they have an online system. So like every night we can go on and check our sales.
Mhm.
But then when we go in after the first of the month, they have checks for us.
Okay.
One of my places is once a month, and then the other two I've had are bi-weekly. But the ones that are bi-weekly, like one emails you at the end of the night everything you sold that day, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
But then like when you have to call to see if you sold anything, and then one you get like an Excel sheet sent to you at the end of the week. And I've never worked had a booth somewhere where you had to pay commission, but I have had booths where you have to pay the credit card fee.
Mm-hmm.
Cathy?
So since I haven't gotten a check yet, it is once a month though. Yeah.
Do you get nightly reports, or do you log in, or are they in your email, or?
Yeah, like Amy, there's a system you can log right into and see when you had your sales, what day, and all that kind of stuff. And it's always open, so it's really nice to be able to just check in all the time, just to see how it's going and see what's selling. And then, as I look, I'm like, okay, these 3 nautical things sold, so I'm gonna go buy some more nautical things, and see how that goes. I think Laura said the new term is coastal grandma.
Coastal grandma?
I saw that. That's funny.
That's okay. Like the young people are saying cottage core and grandma
Yeah.
core. That's the new, okay. Is it coastal grandma core or just coastal grandma?
Coastal grandma chic.
Oh Lord. Okay. So where I'm at now, they send out monthly or nightly emails. So yes, I can check every night, and it comes pretty quick after they close. It's an automated software system that he has. So again, like everyone else, I kind of know what's sold. Do I need to get my butt up there and restock? The last place I was at, you had to log in. I think one of the girls talked about that. You had to log into a portal. So you find out about that, what you like best, although it can change. And I've heard of some markets that are so computerized that you get barcodes. You have to type in your inventory and use a barcode label on your tags. I don't have that where I'm at. Let's see. We get checks every 2 weeks. We just switched over to automatic bank. So now I don't even have to go, because I was
nice.
forgetting to pay. I was forgetting. I'm like, I will be such a good vendor, but this is where I'll be your problem child. I won't cash checks in a timely manner. They'll stack up. Your bookkeeper's going to hate me, and I'll forget my rent. But you'll make $20 off of me every month. So for a late fee, which they never charge me, but sure enough, right from the get-go, even though I promised to try right from the get-go, I hate who goes to the bank anymore, right? So I was like, I would just like have all these checks, and I'm sure I was a nightmare. But we just switched over to everything's automatic. They go get their money, they deposit my money, so I don't have to do anything. But I do check and make sure everything's cool, and then what I can every 2 weeks you'll get. This will be in your it used to be with our paper checks, but now, so like the last 2 weeks, where's the last 2 weeks? I didn't do too bad the last 2 weeks, actually. I'm still getting my booth filled up, but look, I sold $621. That's a lot of stuff.
Good.
And only one of them is a big item. So these are like, $30 and under items. They add up, you guys. I'm a firm believer in this is just for 2 weeks. So I'm already in the money and covered my costs, paid my rent, and already starting to make some money. But I'm a big believer in having some low priced items as well for those who are on a budget, but they're having fun at the market, and so not everyone's looking for high priced antiques or furniture. So I'm a big believer in that, and it adds up. Did I leave anything out? No, I think I covered all that. So, okay, well, let me find another. So every 2 weeks, they deposit my money. Once a month, they go get their rent. Let me see. And then at the end of the year, I get a full report. Just like nice. eBay does and PayPal. You guys get a full report at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. They pay them, and they remit taxes just like eBay does. Mm-hmm. Oh Lordy, do you guys are your sales tax handled? You guys? Yeah. So see, all that's worth the 10% commission that I pay, and I feel like the other place where I didn't pay commission, I feel like the staff wasn't as sales minded as where I'm paying 10% commission, because the owner so he has the good employees that understand that's part of the income that helps cover his cost of running the whole building for us. So he has hired good people. They are constantly, like, before they knew I was a vendor, I would get asked all the time, did you want it in that case? And, I'm like, well, it's my case, but they, I mean, they're on it, like, so helpful. And at mine, even the dock, I call them the dock boys. They're all guys, men and guys. Like, if they're not helping a customer, they will help you move stuff. They're so nice. But I don't abuse them. Customers come first. Anyways, and then eventually we'll talk about bringing stuff in, because that's a thing too. If nobody asks it, somebody remind me to come back about, because you want to know these things before you choose. How do you bring in your merchandise? So somebody remind me if that doesn't come up. Let me find something. You guys, I need question marks or something. Hi, Kristen. Hi to my girl. She's local. Hi, Kristen. Okay, Rocky Mountain.
I was going to add, Barb, who's in here, reminded me that we actually do get paid every 2 weeks. It's just that I get those checks at the beginning of the month, but she's right. I do get 2 checks.
Ashton, Jocelyn's daughter, says hi, you guys. So, let's see. The shop I'm in had its worst month ever last month. No idea why. Probably just back to school. That goes for eBay, live sales. There are certain times of the year, tax time, back to school, Super Bowl, Halloween, where money's getting diverted to school supplies or party supplies. Okay, so unless you're like Super Bowl, unless you're selling chips, cheese dip, and beer, you're not going to sell much of that weekend, okay? So don't fret. I have found out, you guys, I've been doing this all my life. I have found out that by the end of the month, or the end of the quarter, or at least the end of the year, if you are putting in a certain amount of work, it's all going to work out. Okay, let's see. Let's see what Jocelyn agreed. And then that's probably why. Fun fact, let's read that. 2 different locations. Used to be a mall owner. I didn't know that. Here in Colorado.
Nice.
Oh, so okay, they're talking to each other. Oh, Fatbird Finds. Hi, girls. I hope to get them up. Well, yes. Laura already said yes. She retired, so to speak, from her banking job and is doing this full time. So Laura's already said yes to doing a booth talk. Her and Mary Beth have a space inside her mom's antique store. Nice. I think that qualifies, right? So we want to hear about that. That's a unique situation. Okay, let me see if there's another question. If not, I've got questions and that I think we should talk about. Sean would like to have a booth. Yeah, Sean, we talk about that. Let's see. Ours started having people pay for 3 months too. Like in the very beginning, well, I didn't have to pay, but I had to make a commitment. I'm thinking this is, because of the time of day, I'm thinking this is Laura. Mary Beth is still at work. Because they know you can't just come in for 1 month and be like, oh, this didn't work out. No.
Yeah.
If you're serious, let me see. I want to see what Nicole. 8x8 was $100 a month plus commission and credit card fees. So that's another thing you want to ask about. Mine personally doesn't charge credit card processing fee. They absorb that at the 10% commission. Amy, Kate, Kathy, do you have that credit card fees or electric fee besides?
Yep, credit card fees.
Credit card
2
fees.
out of 3 have credit card fees.
Where I'm at doesn't. So those of you on your notes, you want to, that's another thing to ask for. Okay.
Right.
Let's see. There's someone. We love you here in Dallas. You just got back from Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm from Dallas, so.
I did. Hey.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching that. I was hoping I would recognize something, but I haven't been back for like 20 years.
I had no idea where I was.
I wanted to tell you where to go, but I'm like, oh, I was going to tell you the secret hidey holes in Dallas, but I'm like, by the time I'm watching this, she's probably already on to something else, right?
Yeah, I bought my plane ticket less than 48 hours in advance, so it was a little chaotic.
Wow.
Let's see. You will have to tell us how much you pay for that and where you're at. I think she's here in Colorado with me. Yeah, I hope I can get Jocelyn on with George to talk. They just made some rearrangements. Most of you watch Jocelyn, so you guys, Crazy Lamp Lady, you know they just did some finagling of one of the places they were at. Let's see if I can find questions. Sorry, you guys, this is hard to find questions. Well, thank you. I'm coming from Kate's channel. Thank you. I'm a big fan of your girl, Kate. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that was crazy. Oh, and there's Noelle. Noelle. Hi, girl. Okay, I'm trying to find questions. If not, I know what we need to talk about. She's number 2. I watch Jocelyn first regularly, so I don't watch it at night now. She posts at night now. I wake up, feed everybody, Jocelyn, see what Kate's doing, see if Amy doesn't drop daily, see what my other girls have done if they don't drop daily. Okay, let's see. Wait a minute, I want to see this. We have to work 2 days a month for the 10 by 10 booth. Yeah, these are all things you want to think about. Let's see. Do they charge credit card fees? Okay, we talked about that. The other 3 girls, they do pass on the credit card fee. It's probably what, 2.93. If it's more than 3, they need to negotiate. They're old school. Carrie, I did not know you had a booth, my love. I don't know if you like going live. I've never seen you on YouTube besides the chat, but if you want to, I want you on my channel to talk about that. Missouri. I might have to stop in Missouri on my trip and see Carrie. Okay, Dennis. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that, you guys. We had a thrift store that opened their 2nd and 3rd floors to dealers, but you have to be there to run your booth. So it's like an old school flea market. That's how I started out. You guys know anything like that? That's interesting.
I think
cheap then if you have to.
Yeah.
That's how I started out in this indoor flea market in Dallas in the 80s. But we were only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we hired people. We had huge stores inside, and we hired people. And so we had all week to, stock it and prepare and go shop and source. And then, we'd run it on the weekends. Okay, let me see. Sorry, you guys, hang on. I'm trying to show these. I pay a little more than Amy and do the 10% commission. It pays off the more you sell. Yeah, I'm so cool with the commission for the reasons I said. I feel like that helps him hiring more employees, floor walkers, we call them. I don't know if that's a nice term or not. The floor walkers. I don't want to say salespeople. They don't try to sell you or harass you. They just ask you if you need help, if they see you looking at a case. Okay. Okay. I'm catching up, you guys. I'm getting down there. We get daily reports. Yeah. How about security? There's one. Does anyone use security tags? Amy?
No. We don't. I'm sure that some, if they have a scan code, I'm sure that some malls do. Our first situation, they were scannable. We had to like put all our stuff into an Excel sheet and get scan bars for our tickets, and it was a pain in the butt actually, because we couldn't change anything on the fly. Like we couldn't go in and just slap a different price on it. It was like we had to request it. And but no, we don't have any security tags on ours. We do have a lockable case, but yeah.
Okay.
No, I kind of have a little bit of faith in humanity. One of the guys who's got a booth next to me, he's always complaining about people stealing things, but I think people just mix them around, because I always find my stuff.
Yeah.
And since I sell online, I'm really careful not to bring anything that I would be like incredibly devastated if something happened to it. I try to like use my booth primarily for larger size items and knickknacks that you can sell for cheap when you're like looking for like a trinket or something like that, instead of, the middle, which I usually just primarily sell on Etsy. I don't really worry too much about security. I kind of feel like what's going to happen is going to happen.
Kathy?
I just kind of factored in.
No,
Security. Have you guys noticed any significant loss or breakage? I haven't either.
I had a fellow vendor want to buy something and just take it, and then wanted to give me her rusty old shelves in exchange, and I said no thank you, but she took the thing anyway. So I had to kind of talk to people and be like, can I please be reimbursed for this, because it was months later.
I
So
remember you told me about that. Did that get resolved?
what's that? Yes, it did. Yeah.
Oh, good job.
Yeah. The owner just went ahead and did the charge because it was a fellow vendor, and I was like, thank you, because I didn't want to, it was uncomfortable.
That's what I said. I'm like, just go have them charge her for that. Just go talk to them. That way, there's no big fallout. Somebody in the middle is like a mediator, like knows what went down. So.
And these people are wonderfully nice. It's just that's not how I wasn't going there to trade, So
we'll just say it slipped her mind, and we'll give people. I know I forget things, so we'll give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
That's a little sketchy. I have not had a lot. The only thing I've broken, I did myself. No, I think I did have one. I had a slingshot somebody must have tested. And it wasn't a professional slingshot. It was a kid's. It was for kids. It was a reindeer. So probably testing it, and I could fix it. I haven't done full inventory of these sheets against my Excel, but eyeballing it, I kind of know. I don't feel like I've had a lot of loss. I will tell you, I choose to use bigger tags, partly hopefully for that reason, and I cover them with tape. You guys know that, which saved me, by the way, during the fire. I know that's OCD to the max, but when there was a fire and the sprinkler system went all over my booth, I did not have to re-tag 300 items. I cover them just with, because of the size I use, fits on there perfect to cover them with tape.
That's cool.
I use, a lot of vendors do this at my mall. So I used to use stickers until I saw vendors using stamps like butterflies and stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, duh, a stamp. So I bought a smiley stamp. All my tags are so that the people that work there know immediately my stuff. If they see it someplace else, they know immediately. But I feel like the bigger tags really help reduce theft. And this is something I really don't like to say out loud, because now it's going to defeat the purpose. But there's only a couple locals in here. They're not going to steal from me. Okay, my mall has those, like at a department store, those columns that beep, like if you're trying, like those security tags that goes on clothes. And some people might be using them. I don't even know if it's functional. I guess it's functional. Maybe you can pay for security tags. I don't know. What I do is I don't know if I have any in here. I buy that duct tape that's shiny holographic. I don't know if you guys have seen. I should have brought one in. Okay, it's shiny holographic duct tape. So I cut little strips, and then when I put this on there, loop it through, then I'll take a little strip and I'll put it on that. And so it looks like a little square security tag that might beep as they're going through the bars. But it's just that fancy duct tape and it doesn't cost that much. So that's one of my little secrets. So I feel like that's a deterrent because people don't know. They're like, that looks like a security. I'll run down and get it and show you guys. So that can be a deterrent.
Clever.
I was going to mention too, when you're talking about tags, make sure if you're doing your tags, you do really good descriptions that the cashier can read, because we've had tag swapping where somebody has, taken like something off of a quilt and put it on a different blanket. And so they got a really big deal on something because they switched the tags.
Yep. That's another reason why once I loop it through like a handle or something, that's another reason why it's taped. So they're going to have to stand there a while and my mall also has security cameras everywhere, and some people have dummy cameras, but most of the cameras are real. When you walk in, you're going to see two huge TVs where they're watching everything, the parking lot, everything.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Amy's right about that too. So that's another reason why my tags are big. I have to put my vendor name and my booth numbers, and that's another reason why my tags are big, so I can put a description so that they're not switched. Okay, let me find something else. You guys add anything you want while I go look. I want to say hi to Peter. Peter, so helpful. The guy knows so much. I met him through Jocelyn. He's become a friend, a cyber friend, and it's just so cool. He's so helpful. He knows. It's kind of like George number 2, Peter is, you guys. I'm just saying. So you guys talk about something that maybe you want to think of while I find another question. Talk about, there was one, I missed it. They want to know, here's one. They wanted to know about grouping things. So add that in there too, to this question. I'm gonna go get my tape. Go ahead, Amy, take it away.
The more you put into your booth, the more you'll get out of it. That's what I believe. I don't personally think that I put enough in. I live a ways away from where our booths are. My aunt's closer. And we did that, on purpose so that she can get there when something happens or we need something addressed. But I'm there. I have to work 1 or 2 days a month. So I'm there for those work days. So getting back to like move stuff around and, freshen stuff up only happens probably once a quarter, if that. And you will see a boost in sales when you spend the time, moving some stuff in, moving some stuff around, just moving something from one place to another. Somebody's eyes going to catch it that may not have caught it the first time. Yep. So yes, moving stuff around and grouping stuff, Yvonne mentioned, I think is smart too. I've seen people do really cool layouts in their booths with like color blocking and, I think anything that draws eyes is going to be smart to do in a booth.
Ms. Kate?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing. Like, I try to change my display for the most at least once a month, just because, like, a lot of the people are the same people walking through.
Yeah.
And, like, I know for me, like, when I go to antique malls, I'm moving so quick because my eyes are just scanning and everything looks the same. Even if there's a couple more things that I probably missed, I don't even usually bother going in there. And then, like, grouping it for me, that's the fun part, like doing colors or themes or stuff like that. Most of the time, there's not even that much new stuff in my booth. Like, I might, when I change stuff around, like I might like add like one section to kitchen or like one thing to, vases or something. But really it's just the same stuff swapped around. But I've had the same experience every time I move things around. There's usually some type of boost in sales, or it's like something sold that's been sitting for a while.
Yeah, I move my things around too, even though I haven't been there all that long. It kind of, again, pertaining to if it's a holiday or whatever, I'm going to put say it's the 4th of July, I'm going to put my red, white, and blues together, create a sort of a vignette of that holiday if I can. So people are, if they're looking for that, there it is. And I also, when I go in, if I'm tired of looking at something in my booth, I'm going to guess everybody else is too. And so I just go in there and I just I'm harsh with myself. And I'm like, look, nobody wants this. Just, I could be wrong on some of the things, but I want to keep that's the inventory rotating. It seems to really help. I agree. Yeah.
Well, yes, I move things around often because you guys, I'm going to tell you a little metaphysical theory. Okay. So let me back up to the late 80s and 90s when we had large booths, and it was before the 99-cent stores. They were just coming on. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of our big booths in a flea market, we took like 8 booths and tore down walls. So we have a store, and it was a 99-cent store. This is before there were Dollar Trees everywhere. Okay. This is the 90s. And we were lucky enough to be in Dallas, where there's a whole row of importers on Harry Hines. So we would buy boxes and boxes of okay, it looked like a Dollar Tree store. Okay. So what that caused me to learn was, okay, like a box of toys, little plastic cars, let's say, or pens or whatever. We noticed they would be assorted colors, right? We noticed, okay, by the end of the weekend, we had good sell-through, but all the yellow ones were gone. I mean, all the yellow ones were left. Nobody wanted yellow for some reason. Or, we noticed little things like that of shopper, like, it's like it was so metaphysical feeling, like they called each other and said, okay, today we're all going to go buy the blue ones or whatever. It was just so weird. But it wasn't consistent. It would be something different every weekend. So we noticed things like that. And then also we would play little games with each other, like it's because we had so many stores in we were like a big thing. And we had tools in the 99-cent store. I had clothing, blah, blah, blah. So we would be like, okay, we're going to see what we can move this weekend. So like my husband, then he'd be like, okay, he'd go over and touch all his those Mylar pictures that were, with the foil in the 90s with the, they're kind of coming back in style, by the way, if you see him. He'd be like, he's touching them and like giving them love like we would a plant, and putting on mojo. And I'd go pick something in one of my 2 booths and be like, okay. And sure enough, you guys, that's what would have a good sell-through rate. So my point is, even if you don't move your stuff around, go in and touch it. Love on it like they're your plants. You guys talk to your plants to give them love, because that's a proven fact, right? So I know that sounds crazy, but check it out for yourself, because I had years of experience of replay that game of things we noticed. So if you're not going to at least move your stuff around, but there's something about just touching it and loving it. I still love you. I still want to sell you. I'm just going to put you over here. That's enough mojo, in my opinion. Okay. Or dusting things off, even if you're not going to move them. But yes, I move things around often. I do make little vignettes too, like Cathy talked about, and the rest, like, for the holidays, I did a bridal shelf. I did a 4th of July shelf, things like that. Now, I can't do my whole store like that, because my theory is, there's no way, because I've got too much random stuff, like there's no way I can make it all color coordinated or all themed. So I'll take sections, a shelf unit and do it, top of my showcase and do it, so, and it does help. Definitely bringing in new merchandise, of course, does always help. But if you can't, at least move your stuff around, or just go tell everything I love you. Okay. And somebody else picks up on it, I guess. It's like, I'm going to buy you and take you home. So you guys add to that if you want, while I go find something else. I hope that story wasn't too off the wall, but it's true. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Karen. Yes. People that have booths are agreeing in the chat. Mm-hmm. Move stuff around. Oh, but I'm not one for pulling things too fast just because I think they've been there too long. This is why. See if you guys agree. Yes, all markets have their regulars, people that come in every week, but not everybody that comes through. Some people are tourists, some people are visiting their relatives, and that's one of their things that they took them to do. So I'm not really one to pull something just because it's been there 3 months, because I've learned my lesson. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, like Cathy might say, I'm sick of looking at you, but don't talk to your stuff, give it love. And so I'll just put it someplace else. And it just seems like, sure enough, boom. And let me talk about in my showcase. Y'all know I had all that Hager stuff, and it wasn't moving. One of them was like $150. It was high dollar Hager things in the showcase, and it wasn't moving. And I did start to worry, like, well, I wasn't going to pull it, but I was going to go ahead and put it on Facebook Marketplace for local pickup only. Send them to the mall to pick it up. I didn't want to ship it too big for shipping on eBay too. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was like a Hager run. And I was watching and talking to George the Antique Nomad. You guys, I know I'm not trying to name drop. These are just my friends that I talk to, okay? So you're going to hear some of the same names. These are the people I talk to about business stuff and whatnot. He kind of said the same thing. And then I heard Jocelyn say something too on one of her videos, or maybe talking, that some of her Hager had started to move. So it's really weird. And these are different parts of the country, but it's that metaphysical consumer wave I was talking about earlier. So I'm not too quick to give up on an item if I've already put in the work. Just like on eBay, I'm going to list it and forget it. I might go tinker with the prices or put something on sale. But if I've already done the work, I'm going to give it a chance for that person that's visiting, hasn't ever been to the market. And, oh my gosh, they love it. It's been sitting there forever. Okay. Let's see. Everybody in the chat kind of agrees. Let's talk about, I don't really see anything. They're talking about theft and stuff they've had. Let's see. How many items do you have keeping your booths on average? This is kind of a tricky one. Amy, I'll let you go. We're all probably going to say the same thing.
Yeah, it's as much as you can get in there without being overwhelming is basically for our booths. I mean, I want the walls covered in art and the shelves pretty much packed. I mean, we like to have it sparse enough so that we can see the hole when we go in there. Oh, something sold. But yeah, as much as we can get in there without somebody going in there and like, you know, bumping into one thing and having a domino effect, basically. Yeah.
Kate?
I will say I do have my booths mostly overwhelmed, at least my large one. It's crazy. And it doesn't look like that much space until you start moving stuff in. So, like, I know for me, like, when I moved booths the last time from an 8x10 to another 8x10, I brought, like, maybe, like, 6 moving boxes, and I felt like that was going to be enough, and it didn't even get rid of the stuff in there. It was, like, an absolute nightmare. I had no idea how I managed to get that much stuff in there. So space utilization is really key, especially because I don't know, for me, like, I like the tidy booths, but when there's not like a lot of stuff going, like, I like to be able to like feel like I have to walk in it to see everything. So like if I look around and I just see like a few things on a shelf, you know, here and there, I usually don't pay much mind to it unless it's something like really obvious. But the booths where you kind of have to comb through it are the ones that I'm attracted to most. So I try to keep mine like that, which is an intense amount of stuff.
Yeah. Cathy?
Because my booth is on the small side, it's hard to gauge. The same thing. I know it can hold more than what's there. I must have at least, gosh, it's you know, actually I don't want to throw out a number because I don't want to be wrong. But I mean, it has to be at least 100 things in there. There has to be, but I don't know how much more. And I am kind of, because it's such a small space, I feel like I need to kind of fine tune, like maybe this isn't the quality this needs to be. And I do kind of remove things to bring in other things that I think are more likely to sell. So it's a constantly moving number.
I feel like I can't talk about my small booth just yet because it's still kind of a work in progress. Although I will say also my bigger booth, it's been what, eight or 9 months. I feel like it's at 3/4 capacity. I probably have about 300 items in there, I would guess. I know on my inventory, my Excel, I haven't updated everything, or I could correlate it real quick and tell you. But probably about 300 some items. I know on my inventory tags, I'm up to number 1,080. So, and you know, but half of that sold. So That's why I'm kind of guessing probably 200 in one and about 300 in the other. So based on the last ticket I wrote out was, number 1080, 1087 actually. And I loved what these two said. And Kate, her add-on was epic too. Like I'm in agreement too. I don't want it to be to where you're knocking things over. There are booths like that are like that. It's like I call them picker porns. Like you get in there and you dig. But I don't operate that way either. But I want it also, like Kate said, which is I hope everybody really heard that. I'm the same way too. Like I don't want someone to just be able to walk by my booth and just see. Now I don't see anything. No, I want them to have to come in and dig a little bit. So I am going to have some sections where there's stuff like in the back, or down low, something. And I try to make sure that those little cubby hole things with random things are kind of like visible, a couple spots visible, and then I do some highlight items that just bam, the color just attracts your attention. That's my goal anyways. I hope I'm achieving it. But that information was really something that I want to make sure booth people, they hadn't thought of that. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and this is a good one from Noelle, my girl Noelle. I've known Noelle for a long time. I've met her in person. We were at eBay Open 2018 together. That was the best eBay Open ever. There's never been one as good as that one ever. So many of us YouTubers were there from the general reselling community. Oh my gosh, it was so epic. They haven't had a good one like that since. And now I think they're online. But anyways, how much time do each of you spend sourcing, pricing, stocking, and decorating your booths? Do any of you know? Oh, no, I don't. And I'll get to that. Amy, there you go, girl.
I have a pretty deep education, which includes a master's degree. So yes, I have sat down with a spreadsheet and tried to figure out what my most profitable hour looks like. It's so crazy because I'm constantly changing my mind about what I want to do. So it's in flux all the time. The booth for me is not a profitable endeavor yet. It could be. I'm guessing if I spend a little bit more time there, it's just the distance for me is hard. Other things that I've learned are more profitable. Definitely if I put my time into eBay, I could be making a lot more money than I am right now. But so that's just personally for me. But yes, I've sat down and figured out. I don't want to share it because I walked away from 25 years in the advertising marketing as a career person, as an executive level career person. I just kind of walked away from it all. So when I compare what I make now to what I made then, it's like on a line chart, it's like this. But if I compare my just personal satisfaction and level of happiness to what it was then and what it is now, it's the exact opposite. So,
Miss Kate.
Well, I have to tell myself I do not take as good care of my booths anymore as I should, because when I started an Etsy shop like 2.5 years ago. So my first year of my booth, I spent like at least 1 or 2 full days a week working on that. And then probably like at least 1 8-hour day was dedicated to it. And then like a 4 or 5 hour day the next day. But now it's kind of like dropped down where I usually spend like a good day kind of once every other month, at least 8 hours minimum, like completely cleaning it and refresh. But I don't put that much time into my booths anymore because they kind of are like an overfill or storage. I mean, I hate to use the word storage because it sounds tacky, but it's kind of like, oh, my odds and ends from, because like Amy said, you get in what you put out. And for me, like I do Etsy full time. So I have to have the hours to put in Etsy, and doing a booth is a lot of manual labor, and it doesn't really seem like it just from look at it, but it's a lot of work. Like, I mean, every day that I've taken care of my booth, like I will break out into a sweat. I'm tired. I will go to bed early. It's just like kind of physically taxing. So I try to keep it as more as a happy thing and a hobby thing. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean I put as much time into it. But like Amy said, my general like happiness and satisfaction with it is up. So,
Cathy?
It's really hard to calculate a number of hours, or how much time. But as far as sourcing goes, when I source for my booth, I'm also sourcing for live sales and eBay. So it's just kind of intertwined with all of that. I'm like, oh, that would be good for that would be good for live sale. That would be good for eBay. And so it's hard to, because I don't specifically go out and source for my booth usually, unless I think, oh, I need more coastal items. Then it's, pricing. I would say I sit down for an hour and just because I want to research what the prices are going on eBay and things like that. So I would say like an hour, because again, I can't take a whole lot there because it's a small booth. And then stocking would take a shorter amount of time if I didn't keep chit-chatting with the customers. So probably half an hour, 45 minutes, but I could do it more quickly if I wasn't trying to rearrange everything every time I stock my booth either. So that's really, and then I also try to give myself a little bit of hiatuses from thrifting, just to get caught up. And so one week I might not thrift at all, and then the next week I might go hard on it. So per week, it's really hard to quantify, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, well, I'm going to say the same thing, love. For me, sourcing, I guess technically, if you're going to do a business plan or something, that needs to be counted. But to me, that's the most fun part is sourcing. And it's all wrapped together. Like Cathy said, some of it's going to eBay, some of it's going to Whatnot, some of it's going to a live sale, some's going to a booth, some's going in my closet or a friend or a family. Yeah. And I'm also filming for my YouTube. So that makes sourcing take a little longer because I'm also filming, but my YouTube is monetized. But so that's kind of hard to answer. Pricing for I usually try to go into my booth under normal circumstances once a week. I try to avoid Saturday and Sunday. If I have to do that, I try to go in early because I have found sometimes when I'm in my booth stocking, I can sell stuff because I'm talking to people, but I've noticed it's more likely that people are not, my booth is not, it's only a 10 by 11, the size of a kid's room, like this room. I don't know if it's big enough. Some people don't know if I'm stocking or shopping, and they might not even come in. So I feel like I lose more sales by being there in the way with my card and all my bins. So I try to do it on slow days, which is usually Monday or Thursday. Worst case scenario, Friday morning to prepare for the weekend. Now, what I will do is I have a downstairs in the family room. I'll just put on YouTube or some movies, and I'll sit there and make my tags. And I'm a little OCD with the tape and the security tape, so it does take me a little longer than it might take someone else. But I'm watching TV, I'm having fun, I'm catching up on my shows, or watching some of the panel shows that I don't stay up late at night, like Cat the Nurse Flipper or Flippin' and Sippin' that I missed on a Friday night. I'll catch that in the morning. And those are like 2 or 3 hour shows, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'll try to go in once a week at least and restock. And then just like Cathy said, that could probably be streamlined too. So I'm not trying to scare anybody about time, okay? Time management. That could be streamlined too if I wasn't a little on the OCD side, like, trying to group things together, because that's part of the fun. Sometimes I almost wonder, did I get a booth just so I could decorate some more because my house is full, but there's all this cool stuff. So now I am profitable in my booth. Now it's nothing to get excited about. It is my smallest source of income at the moment, but I do see the potential, especially for the market where I'm at, and that we just lost our main, I don't want to say competitor, but another marketplace that was large. It's gone. So we are the premier one, and we have been the largest and been there for a long time. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh, and then like Cathy, I'm talking to other vendors and but I could probably, if I just focused on tags and didn't tape them, which saved me though. I don't want my tags to look all dirty if something's been there for 3 months. That's why I tape them. Like tape, not just the security tape, which by the way I have to show you, but like tape them over with the clear, I use the larger tags, and that, I think these are 2 by 3.5 or something. And so that tape that we use on eBay is perfect. Just fold it over. It's just the right size. And I feel like that helps keep my tags clean looking. I can just wipe it down if things get dusty. So if I didn't do all that, it could go a lot more quickly. And then if I just went in, put the stuff on the shelves and left, that could probably be done in like 20 minutes or less, but that ain't how it goes. And then when I'm done, I'm going to go film for you guys, or I'm going to go shopping while I'm there and see if I can score me a deal. Right. And I made a note we were talking earlier. Another thing, this ties into Noel's question about how much time do is involved. So another thing, when you're picking your market that you want to be in, think about the distance. Mine happens to be 15 minutes from my house, and it's on, if you guys have ever shopped with me and seen me take my friends like George, it's on the main strip Academy, and there are like 5 thrift stores from my house to my mall space. So it's really, it's really no big deal, because I'll do that, film, and then on the way home, I'm going to go hit some thrift stores. So it's all good. So if you are going to if you do pick one that's a little bit of a drive, at least pick the one where you can multitask, like it's around some other thrift stores or places that you like to source. That was my tip. Okay, and before we move on, let me see if I can show this. So see this holographic? Yeah. Now see, when I cut that in little strips and fold it over so it's a little square, if you didn't know better, would you think, and when you came in, because there's only one main entrance, you saw the big security things you had to walk through, wouldn't you be like, oh snap, I better not take from this?
That's smart.
I think that's one of those security tags. So here's my tip. Another thing about tags, before I forget, I don't need to monopolize. Another thing I did besides a stamp, pick something cool to mark your territory that matches. Go get a stamp. Mine's a smiley face. One of my friends, her and her mom use a butterfly. Get something cool. And then I also made, like, this is my vendor name and booth numbers. I've got 2 of them, so I can just stamp that. I don't have to write that out every time.
I like that.
Some people print theirs out. You can do that too. Did we see Jocelyn print out? I think we saw Jocelyn print out tags sometime last week, didn't we, Crazy Lamp Lady? So there are programs where you could do that. And really, these only cost about 2 or 3 cents. I highly recommend a bigger tag. Especially older people like me, I have to wear readers. Like, I'm out of arm. I'm at 125. I cannot read these little tiny tags of what something is and how much is it. Okay, so if you can at all handle it, get a bigger size tag. It's not going to cost you that much more, and you've got more room to write the description. So like Amy says, they can't tag switch so easy. Okay, I want to say hi to somebody real quick. We have been friends for so long. Tanya, she has a booth. Maybe I can get her to come on a booth talk. She's had a booth forever. I don't know if you guys follow Thrifty Treasures. She's been in the reselling community. She's one of the first people that got me on YouTube. Her and Deb Pinching Pesos, we used to do a panel show together. So if you don't know, she doesn't really associate with like a lot of you guys know us from the vintage community, so to speak, the vintage YouTube community. That's just one social circle of vintage sellers that some of you recognize us from, and we all have, the people that sell and have sales like we do. There are so many other social circles within the vintage community, and there's the general reselling community that I come from before I dove into vintage. There's a lot going on, and we've seen, Tanya can attest to this. It used to be just a few channels, old school, some of the OGs, few channels, and then here comes all these other people. Rockstar Flipper, Chris Lynn, I think, who now goes by Daily Refinement, Some names I can't even say. There used to just be a handful of the old school one, like Craigslist Hunter and Golden Finger Picker, and now there's just like it's an explosion. And then a lot of vintage people have, but Thrift With Me videos have been going on. There's Thrift With Me videos of the young girls like 10, 12 years ago. They don't even sell. Whoops. I don't know. They don't even sell. They just do Thrift With Me videos. Like it's just there's so much out there. So if you're having trouble finding more content, there's plenty out there. And I do recommend Thrifty Treasures because if you're coming from the so-called vintage community, which is there's several different cliques or social circles within that vintage community hashtag, you might not have met Tanya. She goes way back. She knows a lot. And I think she's over on Whatnot now. Okay, let me see. Giving away secrets. Let's see. I got to see where we're at here, you guys. We've been on for about an hour and a half. Wow, really? There's a few things we still need to cover. Tag swapping in Andrew's booth. Yeah, so that I think that extra tape that I do, not just the protecting the tag so it doesn't get dirty from people touching it, myself included. I think that little extra fake security, like deterrent, that helps them from being able just to unloop it. They'd have to stand there a while and fiddle around, and they would probably get caught by one of the walkers or on one of the cameras. Okay, let me see where we're at now. Okay, we talked about stolen and breakage. None of us have had a lot. We all have at least one locked cabinet. I don't know about Cathy. Us three girls, we have at least one. I have 3 or 4 locked. Oh, Kate has an epic showcase.
What's nice about
I wish I could have a picture. Your curved one.
I know. I have to get rid of it.
Why?
Because I'm going to close that booth at the end of the year.
Did you show Jocelyn that case? Maybe she would want it. It is so
Jocelyn
cool.
It's really cool. It's it's kind of mid-century looking. It's vintage pink Formica. It's a semicircle. It's awesome. But nobody at my antique mall that I'm at wanted it because they just like do newer stuff, I guess. And then a lot of the people who have artisan like jewelry and stuff have their own shelving units for it built in. So I don't know.
I have something cool at my place. There's like a community showcase, and they just say if you want your higher price things, you can put them in here, and there's no extra fee. It's just kind of a community case for say dangerous things or high priced things. So
do they take extra commission for you guys using that?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I should ask it, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. I didn't see you come in and love you. Wanted to say hi. Hi.
Hi, Mary. It's Mary's birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Mary. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Catherine Young, didn't see you come in. Miss Carol, hi. Said hi to Peter. I think I've said hi to everybody. I've got a soul high. I kissed my hand and touched the eye. So you understood my metaphysical story, I swear. Okay. Okay. I don't see anybody else I need to say hi to. A lot of people have been helping each other and talking. And then, okay, I don't know what that means. I kind of like the cluttered look. Some people do. Like I said, I call it picker porn. There's a couple booths at my mall where I've never been in. It's 40% off too. She's been there forever. She's an elderly woman, and her daughters try to help her, and the staff tries to help her. There has got to be gold mines down in there, but I'm so scared to go in there and like drop things and have to pay for a bunch of stuff that I didn't intend to. But if you like digging and picking, oh my gosh, at American Classics, she's got a couple booths like that. It's just like, I've shown it. I've been like, there you guys go if you like that thing. Oh, there's Blackberry. Hi. All right, so I don't see any more questions, but there's things I want to talk about. How can be better online with what I do? this is kind of interesting. Yeah. So this goes back to another question, like what sells good in a booth? It's a learning curve. So I'm gonna let Amy start first.
Yeah, it's totally a learning curve. It's funny when I saw Barb post this. I think a lot of people start a booth because they have a death pile and they're like, let me get this stuff out of here. And it's like, rather than put it in storage for $50 or $100 a month, let's put it in a booth. I don't know if that's smart or not. I know that my aunt and I, who run the booths together, I think we do that a little bit. We're like, well, we got so much more stuff, we could open up another booth because it all goes out of the house at one time. But would I recommend that? Maybe not. I think the booths do better if it's curated and you kind of pay more attention to the crowd and what's selling and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to add to that. I sell online primarily, as I already said. So I just kind of use, you said, Yvonne, I'm really cheap. So I don't pay much for items. So the stuff that I only paid $1 or $2 for, and they've been sitting online for a long time and I've already run a sale, I usually just throw them back into my booth for a couple bucks, like maybe $1 or $2 more than I paid for them, and just, use them as a stock.
Yeah, and I one of the first pieces of advice I got before I ever got a booth, it was actually years ago, was if you get a booth, don't put your eBay unsolds in there because it's what it's going to look like. So yeah, it's just really, people can tell, I think, and some people don't mind, but I like the curated kind of look myself, but I also like to dig. I guess it depends on, you should have a diggy booth and a curated booth, maybe. Yeah, that might work.
Yeah, I don't think I can add to that. I buy for the booth. I'm still learning, but it's a lot of fun. I wanted to add earlier another reason when we were talking about money and stuff, and I admitted that that's my lowest source of income, but another reason is so much of it's. I've been doing this for a long time, and so much of my social life with reselling was online. My friends in different states that I didn't even know. I realized most of my social life was online too. I felt like I also wanted to get grounded. And so that is such an enjoyable part. I have met so many awesome people, the other vendors, the workers at the mall, the staff, I should say. And so I feel like I have like a large local social circle as well to keep me grounded. And you just never know. You don't know what's going to happen to eBay, to whatnot, to YouTube. You don't know. I like being diversified.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some people like it's an entertainment for them to go to these malls. It's fun. It's part of their entertainment to go and buy something. And if it's large pieces I don't want to ship, then I'm able to still buy them when I see a good deal. Like I bought that bar cart for $25. It was an antique bar cart. It was huge. Yeah, I could have shipped it, but oh my gosh, what, so I just put it over, in the booth. That was one of the first things that sold. So it's really fun to be able to buy, chairs and end tables and art, so let me see. Let's see. Descriptions are right. Thank you, Judy. Hi, Judy. Thank you. All right, I think, let me see what Noelle says. Sourcing is a bit, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, right. Oh, I know you have good, I know where you're at. She's up as Pacific Northwest. Noelle's a great picker too and a seller. So she has a YouTube channel. She's sells phenomenal stuff too. I keep an eye on Noelle. Same name, you guys, on Instagram, because she will buy some of the random stuff too that you think, what? Wait, what? Okay. There's a couple more things I want to talk about. Let's see. Yeah, you're up there by Laura and Wade's Venture, and yeah, the Pacific Northwest is great. George goes up there. We know, yeah, it's great. I hope to get up there sometime, definitely. Stephanie Thrifty Adventures is up there. Okay, are there any more questions? If not, I want to run through some things, and if you guys want to. Amy sent me a little video clip of her booth, and I can. And those of you that don't know me or remember, which I don't see anybody I don't know, couple of people, hit me up on that case, Kate. You guys,
Yeah.
maybe we can, if Kate, if you can find it sometime in the next tonight or tomorrow, what video you showed that on. It's been about a month or two, I believe.
Yeah,
Your
it's
hair,
in there.
I don't think your hair was blonde. If you can find that and drop that link, because you guys, like I was drooling. I was like, oh, good Lord. That is so cool. Okay.
I'll find you, Dad.
Okay, you guys, let me go pull this up. For those of you that don't know, we'll do a little quick of my booth, and then we'll also do, I'll show you a little bit about Amy. She sent me a nice clip. So let me remember how to do this. I'm going to share a screen, and I want it to be this. That didn't work, did it? Did that work, you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to put it full screen, so hang on, see if that works. Now, hang on, bear with me, you guys. I'm going to get it. Just let me get this. Hi. There we go. Okay, and let me drop this down, and we'll make this bigger. And it's just a one of my videos. It's my last video, actually. Bear with me. Let me find a good. See if that's big enough. Okay. And I paused it, so all right. I got all that stuff unpacked. I still need to bring in more, but it's better than nothing. This is my last video last week. This is my main booth. Art glass.
Those.
Asian import, Chinese import. So I didn't pay very much, so I just have them for $22. I think you can get those at Ross and Home Goods for like, depends. Sometimes they're on sale, but they have started raising their prices on some of their imported glass. I just checked it out the other day. There's another one. That one's cheap though. I really like that one. So it's $28. So again, those are just Asian imports. I should back up here in a minute so you can get a better view. Hang on. And then the last one down there. See, my tags are easy to read. Century in pink. And this is okay. Let me fast forward a little bit. Actually, it was made in Ireland. Here we go. We're going to come up on a bigger view. So there we go. Whatever. So you can see I'm only about 3/4 full in this booth. Need to add some jewelry. Jewelry's been selling, so those are my locked cases. Lord knows I have plenty. I tried to save some of the coolest stuff for you guys. This is cute. I don't know if the bit. I'm gonna fast forward again so we can. I'm gonna try to find a big angle. So bear with me, and then we'll look up there. That looks like it's going to be a big one. Had to move things around in my large Hager display because sold so much of it. It just all of a sudden took off. I told you guys that earlier, right? Okay. So I still do need, look, see, that's too bare. But anyways, I'm happy enough. I got my booth straightened up and some more fresh stock for this holiday weekend. Did I put anything at all over here? Okay, you guys could you hear that video? Okay, so that was my last video if you guys want to see all of it. And then after that, I took you guys shopping to show you other booths. So, Ruthie, thank you. Tell Marion hi. And good luck. Thank you, Ruthie. Ruthie does shot calling for another local thrifter, Mid-Mog Marion. Okay, let me go find, where did I put that? Hang on, you guys, because I've only seen Amy's booths on her videos, but she made a video where a little clip for me where she slowed it down. So let me go find that. I put it under videos, and there's Amy, and I want to do number 1. Okay, let me open it up and then figure out how to share that. So this is Amy's booth, video number 1, and I just need to figure out how to share. I think it's do that. I'm not good at this part. Hang on, you guys. Stop sharing and video file. Oh, okay. I see what I do. This is the first time I've ever done this way.
That's cool.
It'll be worth it, though. Hang on, you guys. Let me go. You guys are seeing all my files. I only have a few. Oh, there. Look at that. That was seamless. Now that I know how to do it.
Nice. This is my very first booth. So it has a big Yoso boho on the front of it. And I created, there's just jewelry there in a couple of boxes, but I created it so you have to kind of walk through.
There it is. You got a big sign. I started it over.
Yeah. So, and we came from like a 12 by 14 room to this space when we moved. So we had to downsize quite a bit and everything just kind of got thrown in here. So this is a mix up of like boho and primitive and antique and whatnot. But I like to kind of, when I get my boho stuff, I put it in this spot.
I'm going to run number 2. Now that I know how easy it is to do that, that is so cool.
Yeah. So this is the second booth, and we were able to plan for this. So I actually designed the walls with the shelves all white and did the color on the back wall and just kept everything really open. But again, you have to walk in and through it to see everything.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
It's more of a whimsical. We call it the Yoso whimsical booth. And we try.
I like that glass and I like that lucite and glass thing in the middle. Is that or lucite and brass?
Yeah. My aunt found that. It's a big lucite piece that's like clear all the way through, so it makes a nice little, not obtrusive piece to kind of have to walk around, but also see down into.
Oh, look at your shelf unit, painted cinder blocks, and then
it's all And what's neat, somebody was saying, I think, I don't remember, but somebody was saying about cubbies and filling cubbies and making things. That's what I loved about using all of the cinder blocks, was that we created these little windows, these little cubbies that people could see things in. So all like the miniatures and stuff. It's been fun to have things peeking out of those little holes.
Thank you so much. Let me figure out how to shut these down. Thank you so much for, I don't know how to make these stop. Hang on, you guys. This was new to me. Thank you for sending those. Those were cool. And that brings us up to something else we should mention. Like all of those cases in mine, I bought there from someone else who was leaving. I literally had to bring in nothing but one white case. What Amy's got going on, she can dismantle and just take with her if she wants to.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. Like, and what I would do is, towards the end of the month, go and start asking the workers, like, okay, who's leaving? And start looking for the signs, because you can pick up some really good deals, especially as it gets closer to where they have to get out. And sometimes they don't want to take things with them for whatever reason. You can score some good deals. So where did you get your pink awesome showcase, Kate?
I got it from a dealer that was leaving a local antique mall. So yeah,
that's cool.
And Cathy, did you have to bring anything in, or did you?
I because I'm such a perfectionist, like the booth isn't how I'd have it. I did bring like a little vignette though of a picture, if I can get it off my little stand here. And because it's in a barn, I thought, why not go with some farm animals? So I do have this little vignette going with
cute
with the farm animals. Yeah. So that's just one little tiny piece of my area, but
like a shelf unit that would fit in your car.
Yeah, I actually picked this shelving unit up at the bins.
Oh,
so it's actually pretty small. It's not that big, but yeah. So
so you definitely want to think about, if you're moving into a space, or even if you just want to upgrade, always keeping your eye out on what the other people are doing. And you won't always know, you might miss out on something. So you want to talk to the workers and be like, anybody leaving? Anybody got some cases coming up?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's how I scored some of them before they even put their signs up. Because first they're going to liquidate their merchandise, right? And then they're going to sell their fixtures. So they usually don't sell the fixtures till it gets closer to the end when they can start consolidating and then, sell piece at a time. So,
Right. Like Kate said, if you have a big space, it's like you have to consider shelves and stuff. So initially you have to be prepared with whatever you want to fill that space with to create your displays. And I know for us, I looked at Facebook Marketplace like all the time, and a lot of the stuff I got was free. It was like somebody was dumping stuff out of their basement and just took pictures, and we went out and got like the first booth that you showed, that first shelving unit that's all brown. It's like it came out of a 1920s basement, and we just went and picked it up, and it's secured to the wall. And somebody asked, I think B Avenue Thrifter asked, the cinder block shelves are really sturdy. They're not, you could probably climb up them. They're not going to like fall. Although I wouldn't suggest climbing them. They're really
$2? I'm so sorry. They're about $2 to buy like at Home Depot, or more if you go to a stone place.
Yeah, I want to say the paint, the lumber, and we did things like we rounded off the edges on the lumber to make it look finished, and the cinder blocks and everything. I think my aunt and I split it, and it was probably a couple $100 a piece. But when we set up our first booth and we had to go out and, source all that stuff, at the very last minute, we were also going to vendors' booths and trying to find maybe a hutch or a chest or some other furniture pieces to sell. And that was easily, several $100s between us to try and fill that space. So.
Oh, bless you, hon.
Sorry.
Another thing I did, which I ended up not needing to do, of course, is I walked around and instead of just looking at merchandise when I was at these other malls and markets, I started looking at what they use for display to get cheap ideas. Yep. Cheap and easy to take apart and move again. Now, the glass cases that I bought were like $15, so I'm not too worried about those, even though they're lightweight and they're on wheels. I know that if I do leave and don't want to take them with me, mess with them, I'm going to be able to sell those for more.
Yeah, no doubt.
So no problem.
Yeah.
You guys, I think we better wrap it up. Do you guys have any last words or ideas? Anything we left out about choosing a mall space? And go ahead, Kate.
I mean, I would say like the two things that I feel like no one asked. When it comes to pricing, running a sale, I don't want to be like controversial, but I feel like it's pretty much the worst thing ever when you go see like a giant like 50-60% off sign and it's just marked up like 60 to 80%. And like, if I see that, I don't even care what's in there. I will just walk out.
Amen.
So,
100%.
While running a discount is great and all, like the number should be reflective on the price. It shouldn't be like a math test. And the other thing that like I really think makes a huge difference is standing out. Like for me, like one of my booths, like I have electricity and I make sure to have like all kinds of funky lights, colored lights, so you can see it from far away, so it like piques interest, because even though it's got like 50% of the same stuff as most of the other booths in the antique mall, it looks different, so people are attracted to it. And then like I see another thing, like printing tags, like visual merchandising goes farther than like shelves and stuff, having kind of like a brand. Vista print and all this stuff will print logos on stuff for nothing if you use a coupon code, and kind of just like taking that extra time to pay attention to detail makes people look closer. Like Amy said, what you'll get in what you put out. And sometimes, spending $20 every 4 months or something like I do on Vista print makes a big difference.
I love that. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's a turn off. Those fake sales.
Awful.
Yeah, I don't even run sales, quite frankly. I haven't run one yet. I just price my stuff pretty well to begin with. So sometimes I'll go in and put one or two items myself, I'll mark it down and tape it real good so they can't put that on as something else. But I don't really, I have never run a, like 20% off everything sale. Yeah, I'll make it authentic if you're going to do a sale.
Mhm.
Make it authentic. That's irritating. I'm glad you thought of that. And
Yeah,
lighting. Yeah,
definitely.
lighting is important. Yeah.
We
So,
do have sales, and I think they've been effective in slower months to help, mitigate the slower. But I think our last one was like 25%. And we do not set prices to compensate for any sort of discount. It's like we need to get stuff moved out of here. So give them a deal,
because I don't want to do the firm thing. Like there's
Yeah.
some like I don't want to do a whole across the board. Maybe after a couple years I might change my tune. I'm still relatively new at
Right.
this mall, but I don't want to do the firm for things that I don't want to sell, because I feel like you have to at least do 20%, right? But then I'm also doing 10% commission so that's 30 actually. So there have to be some things I'd have to pull or not or put firm, and I don't want to do that. But like I said, I might change my tune after I've been there a while. Who knows? Cathy, you have anything to add?
Gosh.
I know you're still new at it too.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm trying to come up with something that hasn't been said yet. I guess I would say, don't be discouraged if you're not making sales or not even making rent at the beginning. If you're new, you got to get people used to you being there. And I just think it's important. Paying to learn does help sometimes, and so just sticking it out, just getting through the slow season, go into the good season, and see how it goes, and don't get discouraged. I remember when I started selling on eBay, like I said, 20 years ago, and then I kind of went through a phase where I just stopped because I just felt like I wasn't making enough. And looking back, because I'm just not making a profit. And all of a sudden the sales just started coming after a while, and I was about to give up. So I just kind of learned my lesson from them. So
yeah, have a little bit of commitment for your dreams.
Yeah.
We're about to wrap it up, but I saw a couple interesting things just roll in. Anything under? Oh, that's a good idea. There you go. I wouldn't have to, Nicole. I wouldn't have to do the firm. Yeah, and like I said, I may change my mind when stuff's been there for a couple years, but so far I don't need that. And I saw one more thing that is kind of important. Darn it, where did it go? And this is a tip for people who go shopping. Oh, there it is. Yeah. A lot of dealers where I'm at, they have in place, when you go to check out, you won't know it, but if you're military, you could ask them and you get another 10% off or whatever we've told the front desk. And a lot of them have told the front desk any other dealer can have 10% off. It's just a standing thing, but you kind of have to mention it. And then also I have had on my higher price items, I've had the front desk call me to say a buyer would like to offer, like the Black Swan was 180. A buyer would like to offer 150. Well, heck yeah, I'm gonna. So you can also know that as a shopper, these are some of the perks you can ask for. I don't know if all malls do that. Mine will call me, and you need to answer. They're one of the numbers that can get through. They're a VIP number on my phone, so that I know it's got a special ring, so I know, pick that up right away. Hello, this is Yvonne. This gets to the point. So yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on that? You guys ever get calls, or does your market?
Ours used to allow that, and now they don't because they've implemented a sales strategy and have, done more advertising and whatnot. So I kind of like it that they're not asking, and they've kind of told the regulars, like, there's no more of that, try and take advantage of sales. And they've told the vendors to try and, have more sales, like, do work to get people here. And it seems to be working. The sales days are our greatest sales. So
you guys have any parting thoughts to add to anything we left out?
Some of my places it won't call you unless it's over $100. The sale,
Yeah,
like,
they'll only
but
call on big items.
yeah, a lot of places do 10% automatically if it's like you're paying with cash and it's over $10, or
Yeah.
a lot of places do 10% automatically if it's over $20 and not marked firm. So I usually offer like a 10 to 15, I always offer like 10 to 15% off, like, anyway, just because I kind of feel like people just get excited to think they're getting something.
Yeah. True.
So all the things that we've talked about, I know we probably didn't cover every single thing, but we covered a lot. For those of you that are wanting to do that, I think we covered a lot of points for you to think about as you're choosing where you want to go. A lot of these little tiny questions that you don't really think of in the beginning, but might be important to you somewhere down the road if you're trying to choose between A, B, or C mall to go into. So I hope we did a good job, you guys, and I'll be having some more of these. I don't know when's the next one, maybe next month or a month and a half, okay?
Nice.
And try to have some different people on that have some different perspectives, but it's going to be close probably to all the same advice, but it's fun to hear the prices in different areas, and I don't know. And the repetition, of stuff that we learn. I learn by repetition. I don't always remember advice like the first time, so. All right. Oh, Glenn popped in. Glenn, we're getting ready to say goodbye. Hi, Glenn. There's an OG. Okay. Well, does you guys got anything coming up? Any sales? Tell us what you got coming up, and then we'll say goodbye.
No sales until the end of the month. I usually do a sale the very last Tuesday of the month. I go live. Other than that, I'll be at the extravaganza coming up this week. So.
And maybe Kate. So, and
maybe
of course, Jocelyn was here. Jocelyn and Dagny were here. They will be there. So if you see them, be sure to say hi. Okay. Kate, do you have anything else? You post videos about every other day or every day?
I post videos every day, circa 10 a.m. And then I always post whatever's in the videos to my Etsy immediately following the video every day.
Wow.
And the only trips I have coming up, I might go to Ohio, like everyone's saying, this weekend. I have like a little trip to West Virginia in October, I think. But I've been kind of running sales through my Etsy and trying to downsize because in November, I'm actually going to be driving across the country. So,
a sourcing road trip and filming for us.
My friend's moving to Los Angeles, and I'm going to help him drive his moving truck, and we're going to hang out and do YouTube and go to antique markets, and we're going to eat a lot of food. It's going to be quite an adventure.
That's awesome.
Cathy, I'm sure you have a sale or a show.
Yeah, I have sales every Thursday at 3. And I will be having my first Whatnot sale on September 23rd, which I believe is a Friday, also at 3. So I'm excited but nervous about that. I really need to hone it in, figure out what exactly it is that it would be best to bring to Whatnot. But I have a few ideas, so it's just choosing which one. So that's coming. Stephanie Thrifting Adventures and I have been in talks about having a sale together soon, so that will be coming soon. And some other things that I haven't announced yet. So yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do a. I don't know if I'll be in Ohio. You'll see on my social media if I make it this month or if I go next month to Pennsylvania. You'll find out on my social media. I'll make a decision here in the next 48 hours. I guess I better book a hotel room. I did check to make sure there was some available. Anyways, and I'll be back sometime this week to do. I've got a lot of friend mail. Thanks, you guys. Oh my gosh. And I'm so sorry that I'm late. I hope you guys know my deal for last month, why I'm a little behind, but I've got a lot of friend mail and I want to share it with you guys. I have opened it this time because it cheered me up, but we'll talk about it and say thank you to everybody and I'll do a little giveaway or something. I don't have any sales planned right away. So I'm still taking it, kind of day by day, you guys. I will, after this loads up, I'm so sorry. I will come back and drop everybody's links into the video description. Remember, you guys, you could open up video descriptions on anybody's video, and there's probably a lot of information in there, okay? Okay, thanks you guys. That was so great.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
Coming to my first one. Kate literally just said yes this morning, like 4 hours ago. So
That's how
she's a
That's how she rolls.
that's how I roll.
we need to give her a shout out for the Elvis lamp too. I wanted to do that. Shout out to the Elvis lamp. Okay. All right, you guys, we're gonna log off. We all appreciate you guys. Amy, do your thing you always do. This is Amy's thing. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.